Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Comedy Studio, and welcome to Tales from the Inside. Please welcome your special guest host for tonight, Kendra Dawsey.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching tonight. This is Tales from the Inside. As you probably know, we've been stuck inside for a little bit, and we're still telling some tales. We're still trying to make things entertaining, and I hope you will be entertained by everyone tonight. Before we begin the show tonight, I do want to take a moment to commemorate someone. So recently, a member of the Boston comedy scene, Casey Durkin, has passed away. I want to send condolences to her family and loved ones from the Comedy Studio and from the rest of the Boston comedy community. She was very supportive, and it's always sad to hear of someone's passing. So just wanted to say that, and then we'll be a little more lighthearted as much as we can be in 2020. It's Christmas in 2 days. This is like the least exciting Christmas I've probably had in quite some time. It's just, it just feels like very, like I'm like, oh, I might try to bake a pecan pie. No one's really into it. I asked my dad if he wanted a present, and people who are like men who are like 60 years old and up, they don't need presents. Like, they don't like things, right? I was like, do you want a present, Dad? And he was like, whatever, like, it's fine. Like, this isn't really Christmas. But it's also like, what am I going to do? Like, get him his third nose hair trimmer? Like, I don't know what my dad needs. He is a great man. He has supported me so much in my life. I really appreciate him. He's also a very simple man. He just wants to drink his Bud Light Lime-A-Rita and watch basketball. That's all he wants from life. And I don't know how to purchase him that, like, do I get him a third case of Bud Light Lime-A-Rita so he could keep drinking? I'm like, what does this mean? Do I get him a zany shirt that I actually want? What do I get my dad? He does like some art. I've gotten him some like artsy things. I got him like a horn player that he really appreciated. But I am usually just stressed out about gift giving in general. Honestly, it's kind of stressful. Like, I obviously do want to show someone that I care, but I'm not good at it. There's some people who like, they look at you and they're like, this is what you want for Christmas. Like, oh, you want like this fancy vibrator from this very specific set or like, oh, you want to be like taken to like a movie and dinner date for Christmas or what? Like, they just know I am not that person. I need to be explicitly told what someone wants for me to get it for them. Like, otherwise, like I've done things where I like pick up something that I, reminded me of someone, but I'm not good at it. I'm not good at gift giving. I'm also bad at gift receiving. So I just suck during the holidays. I am no fun at all, honestly. My own family has called me very picky when it comes to gifts. I guess when I was younger, I didn't spend enough time being like, oh yeah, I love this gift. I guess I would actually tell people what I thought about the gift. And then like, now my family is like, oh, like, God, Kendra's not going to get anything. We fucking get them, Recently, this has happened. Actually, this isn't so recently. This is like maybe 7-ish years ago. There was a time I went back to my childhood home, break from college. And I was just like sitting, hanging out, I was like sitting at the kitchen, like on my computer, like I usually was. And my mom was like, hey, like, I want to give you like a Christmas present early, or it might have been a little after Christmas. Like, oh, one of your Christmas presents just came in. I was like, oh, cool. And she gives me a box and I like open it. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom. I open it. And before I continue, I just want everyone to kind of look at my clothes. So I'm dressed as like a depressed, pattern clashing librarian right now, right? Like, that's what I look like. That's basically how I dress usually. Coronavirus has like kind of eroded my sense of style. I usually wear sweatpants now, but on the top for the Zoom meetings at work, I try to keep it a little profesh, and I go with like depressed librarian or like depressed stage tech if I'm feeling a little casual, you know, like dark colors, basic, whatever. I have like a few years ago, I didn't have these 70s kidnapper glasses that have been reappropriated by lesbians, but you know, I still had that vibe. At this point in my life, I had the vibe of like lesbian stage tech just wants to be left alone, like low maintenance lesbian stage tech. My mom knew this. My mom had seen me dress myself for many years at this point. I opened this box that she gives me, and it is the like Barbie vomit pink, like Barbie nipple pink sweater dress with a turtleneck, right? So there's a few things wrong with this. One, turtlenecks. I know they work for some people, not me. Fucking not into turtlenecks. My mom has a tradition of just getting me turtlenecks. I always hated them. I'm like, yo, I am not getting laid in high school. I have no hickeys to hide. Why am I wearing this? You know, like, what is the point of this fucking extra fabric around my neck? Just give me a low, like, I want my neck to be free, right? Like, if I do get a hickey, I'll just wear a scarf. I like scarves. This was like, you know, back in the day, the scarves were hipster and stuff. I'm like, I'd rather have a nice scarf. So first thing, fuck turtlenecks. Second thing, sweater dresses. Like, I like sweaters. At this point in my life, I wore more dresses. Those two things together, though, it's like kind of hard. Especially like, because sometimes you get a type of sweater that is very itchy, and this was like that itchy sweater fabric. So I was like, ew. But as I said, I was a lesbian stage tech, usually not known for wearing dresses. If you need to like assemble a stage, if you need to like do some carpentry to set up the door that Jesus goes through for your college's production of Godspell, you're not going to be wearing a dress, right? So not a dress. Last thing, so pink. This was so pink. Like I said, Barbie nipple pink. I'm not against all pinks. I am a person that does appreciate pink in certain stuff. Like, I love a hot pink. I love a rose gold. That's a shade of pink. There's what are some other pinks? I don't even know. Body parts that are pink are pretty cool. Pink lips, usually pretty cool. Like, usually a nice shade if that person isn't dying or whatever. But this shade of pink was like very pastel in Easter, which is like some of my least favorite color. I like bright colors, like none of this pastel Easter, like, you know, Easter bunny is going to revive Jesus from the dead shit, right? But it was very pastel, right? And at this point, I was old enough to talk back to my mom. For anyone in the audience watching that's Black, you know, there's sometimes some people never reach that age where you talk back to your mom, but I mean, not even talk back, just like give feedback to your mom, right? But I was feeling a little brave because I was barely home except for the holidays. And I looked at it and I was like, Mom, I do not like this. Not only do I not like this piece of clothing, but what made you think that I would wear it? What have I done that makes you think I would want this Barbie pink sweater dress? And my mom was like, oh, I don't know. Like, oh, you're so like difficult to shop for. I remember when you were younger, you would wear stuff like this all the time. And I was like, okay, how young? And she said, you know, when you were like 2 years old. And I was like, when I was not in charge of dressing myself because I didn't have motor skills. That's the last time when you were in charge of dressing me. That was the last time I dressed like this. That's what you're saying, right? And she was like, yeah, but you know, you're just like so hard to buy for, like whatever. Like, you know, I saw it and I thought it looked cool. I was like, just get me a hoodie. Like, actually, I think my family thinks I'm hard to like dress for because they like want me to like look nice. Like, my grandma has gotten me a sweater. First off, I have enough sweaters. But like, and I didn't really like that sweater, but I didn't want to tell her. If you know me, you want to buy me something, a hoodie, basic zip up hoodie. I will wear the shit out of it. Again, because I am a stage tech lesbian. Is a pandemic. I just want to be cozy. All right. You don't need to get me like fancy boots with like 5 laces up the sides or like leather jackets or something. When someone got me a pink leather jacket, I'm like, I'm not in fucking Greece, okay? Like, I like it. Like, no, I don't like it. It wasn't that I liked it. I was like, I appreciate that you spent a lot of money on me, but like, I don't know where I would wear this, you know? Like, I don't exist in the 70s. So yeah, just moral of the story is just get me a fucking hoodie. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here again. We have a really awesome list of performers coming up. Today, we are telling stories. Some of them are associated with the holidays. It's kind of a Christmassy spirit. You may have like a freaking tree in some corner of your house or a menorah or something. But also, like, let's just like be let's have some fun. Let's tell some interesting stories. So first person coming up is a good friend of mine. He was in the running for Best Comic of Connecticut last year, and he is hilarious. Please give it up for Pete Angelo.
Thank you. Apparently, are we making requests of what we want people to buy us? That we gotta do.
If you want to, yeah, you can do that.
Cool. Bud Light Lime Marita. Yeah. So my story is not really holiday related, but I look like a mid-30s racist Santa, so that's close enough. Look at that Rankin Bass cartoon, like when he was still skinny before he became a fat guy. I'm like the between that. I'm the lost years of Santa, where he was just doing horrible shit. But about God, had to be about this point 8 years ago or so like that. I went to a small party with 2 friends in a really like. I'm gonna say a rich part of Connecticut, which I know doesn't narrow it down, but like the richest part of Connecticut. Like I shouldn't be allowed there. Like the only way I should have been allowed in this area was if I was doing construction on the road. Thank God no one realized it. But besides the 2 friends I went with, a small party, I didn't really know anyone. And until I ran into this girl who I had met at a concert. She had like multicolored hair, punk rock, and her name was Skittles. I don't think that was her actual fucking name, but I never found out it. So it just went with Skittles. And talking to her a little bit, and she was there with this guy, and he was a punk rock guy, skinny, lanky. I was smitten because I was a closet bisexual who just literally liked punkers. But again, this is in a really rich area that he was from. So I don't know what he was possibly rebelling from. Like, I don't know, fight the 401k that his parents set up. I don't know. This was 7-Eleven Blink-182 punk, I guess. But, hanging out with them, talking music, all that stuff, drinking. It gets to a point where Skittles, she comes up to me and she takes out her phone and she opens up the notes app and she writes something on it and she holds it up to me and it says threesome ? And I was like, what? There's no way this is real. And I was like, he's bi too? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I just walked into my own porn fan fiction. How is this happening? So the night goes on, drinking. He's out of his fucking mind because, of course, he is. Why else would I be in love? So we were drinking. The 3 of us are making out. We're kind of staying away from the few other people that were there. But the night goes on, less people there. I end up on the back porch, and I'm talking with one of my buddies and this other guy from the area who knows the punk guy. His name is Greg, I think. I don't know. You think it would have been Starburst, but so they're talking, and Greg is irritating the hell out of this guy. Apparently, they know each other, and of course, the topic of weed and money comes up. I don't know why, but someone owes someone money, and Greg's pushing buttons and being irritating. And at some point, this guy gets so mad, he pulls out a switchblade, and I was like, "Oh shit!" This night went from sexy to dangerous, and I'm still turned on, but. I was like, all right, I have to intervene. I know it's probably not my business, but if anyone's going to penetrate Greg, it's going to be me. So basically, I tried to calm the guy down when I was talking to him. And, I had to go, macho douchebag and be like, well, look at it this way. If you stab him, then you have to fight me, and I weigh a lot more than you. So, it de-escalated the situation. People started whining. People, he put the knife away. Thank fucking God, because I gotta be honest, I wasn't getting stabbed for this. This guy was cute, but he wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna get stabbed for this fucking sex. So threesome, I don't know. Threesome will might make you take a knife for one. But so we, I walk with them to the car. We exchange numbers, all that. Because everybody's planning on getting together. Well, fast forward a week or so, they invite me down to that area again to meet up with them, have some fun. And so I meet up with them. In the back parking lot of a Stop and Shop, because nothing makes you want to fuck more. And they are, so I go into the back of it, and they are in a van, of course. But they weren't in a big van. It was a fucking minivan, like they were going to soccer practice. And they had the middle seat removed. And for the life of me, I want to know where that middle seat is. I don't know why, but because it's not like it's not one of those cool, like, old school vans with like a mattress in it, something like that. No, minivan. And it was beat to hell. Middle seat missing, blankets on it, smelled like all the weed, beer cans everywhere, a white powder I'll let you figure out. So in there, and I wasn't exactly killing it in the sex department in general, even as a bisexual, and yeah, we're greedy. Well, fuck everyone. No, we're getting rejected by everyone. That's how it works. So, they knew each other already. So, like, as someone who, I was so nervous about it. Like, they already have a rapport. I'm like the sub. You can't just join a team already in progress and, like, know all the plays. But, all right, so they start going down on me together. And what a feeling. And they're, like, doing, like, play arguing about who gets to, who gets to get more, who needs this, who wants that. And I was like, oh my God. No one's going to believe this ever happened. Fuck it. So they're like, oh, you should. So I can't remember who suggested it. They're like, you should record it. They're like, you should take out your phone and film it. I was like, all right, fine. I wish I wasn't falling in love right now. So I got the film and recording it, and he's having his time, and she's just like, she's not, I don't say coaching, but like reprimanding him that he's hogging it. There's not that much to hog. I'm not gonna lie. But so we go on. Then she gets down on all fours, and he gets behind her and takes off his pants. And holy shit! Like, I don't know what it's with, like, lanky, skinny dudes, but the biggest dick I've ever seen. To this goddamn day. I was like, holy fuck, please tell me he's a bottom. Otherwise, this is gonna fucking hurt. Thankfully, he was. But, like, also, like I said, I never got her actual name. So just yelling Skittles and being a fat guy, it just sounded like I wanted snacks at a movie. But, like, as far as I know, her actual name was Skittles, because, I mean, it might as well have been. I can't imagine, like, how well together, like, how she was also crazy. But, I mean, she was doing cocaine off the headrest of a minivan while being worn like a Chinese finger trap between two guys' dicks. Like, so, yeah. So we all had issues at the time. But the way so what always stuck with me too is, it's when the other guy is so well hung and you're not, it like almost, you get insecure a little bit. But I found the perfect workaround. If you're ever in the situation and you're in a threesome and the other guy is much bigger than you, do what I do. Wear him as the condom. So I fucked her through him. That's my story.
All right. Wow, there is nothing that's more in line with the holidays than a story about a night of bisexual debauchery. I love it. Skittles really, Skittles just seems like a character. I don't even know what to say. This woman just, I mean, she hit
They disappeared from my life for a couple of years, then hit me back up, went up with them, hooked up, thought it was cool, left, and then she started texting me crazy things that I was trying to steal.
Yikes. Okay, well, I guess someone named Skittles does kind of like there has to be something a little wild out there. Did you ever find out her actual name?
No. It's Skittles forever.
Wow, thank you so much, Pete, for sharing that story. Again, the twists and turns, my heart was pounding.
It had everything. It was drama and fucking sex. Like, oh, what else you need?
Drama, sex, potential stabbings. Damn. Awesome. So our next performer coming up is great. She performs all over Boston. She also has a YouTube channel called Meg Con Art. That's Meg, M-E-G, Con, like a con artist, art. And you should check it out. She has great stuff there. Please give it up for Meg Connolly.
Thank you. Yes, I am Meg Colony. People used to call me that in high school, and I'm like, yes, I am white. I don't know. Anyways, guys, we just heard about sex. Sorry, I'm gonna sex and stabbings and all that good stuff. My story definitely doesn't exactly have those components, but it does have a church which is known for spooky stuff, guys. Holidays, spooky stuff. Have you seen the night before Christmas and that fucking Muppets Christmas Carol with the big hoodie guy that walks Michael Caine through the sad butthole? Yes, this story has a lot to do with a church. So I used to be involved with a church heavily, as you could see, me, a good Christian. And let me tell you, sometimes it get a little spooky in there. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm 26 now. It's not the most holidays in the world, but man, back when I was maybe 16, there was one holiday I could never forget. So in high school, we used to hang out in the church basement a lot, supervised mostly. And we would get into games, whatever, hide and seek, Secret Santa, Yankee Swap, all that good stuff. And it was one of these times where we're celebrating the holidays. Everyone was back in town, all the college kids, the 8th graders were even involved. And man, there was just so many of us in that church playing hide and seek. To one round where I'm on the hiding side, guys, and I'm trying to figure out the best spot in this big church. I know every inch of it because of all my involvement, since I was a little baby crawling around. So I think maybe I should hang out in the choir loft, but I know that the kids are making out or whatever up there, and I'm a scared virgin, so I would never step on their territory. They'll give me a wedgie again. And I think about going to the boiler room, but it's scary. And one time my foot fell into it, and and the canvas shoes do not like muddy water. Because I was pure like a virgin. Thanks. Listen, this was a very scary time. Thank you. So I decide that maybe I'll check out the flower room. Now, what you don't know is a lot of churches, their flowers are fake. just like their faith. Ew. And, you know, I know that it's the spot because there's plenty of flowers to hide behind. They got the big ones in there. So I go in there and there's no one else. I know that there's no one else. I can hear them skittering above my head. I can hear them down the hall. And they don't know the church like I do because they're not virgins. That's right. Kendra, don't make that face. I don't know where I'm going with this. I mean, I do because I live this. Listen, when I tell you spooky story that follows these events that get me to the flower, you'll be. That's right. I said fucking. Because I'm a virgin. Listen. I know who's seeking, and they are, like me, very well versed in the church, and they know how to find people. So I go as deep into the flowers as I can. And then I feel something on my back. You guys hear that? And I know that no one's there with me. So I brush it off. It was a leaf. Okay. We're cool, and it's fine. And then I feel something on my leg. Okay. I flash my camera light or my phone light because it's 2011 and we just got smartphones. I don't know. Okay. Oh, it was a ribbon. It was just a ribbon that touched my leg. Okay. And then I feel a hand on my shoulder, guys. That's right. It was the sculpture. It was Joseph himself, which is wrong because, as you all know, because we're all good Christians here, Merry Christmas, Joseph wasn't any kind of like spooky spiritual type. He wasn't an angel. He wasn't a half God, half man. He was not the Virgin Mary. How is it that Joseph, the stepfather of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, was touching my shoulder? Well, folks, I retracted, taking cover in the flowers as I stared into the statue, not believing that it actually moved. And then I heard him, and I saw its lips move. It said, "It's just the Christmas spirit, baby." And that's how I lost hide and seek. And also discovered that there was drugs in the fruit punch. Thank you guys so much. That's my story.
All right, keep it going for Meg being a pure Christian. Yeah, there's this the show holiday theme. The show's all about Christianity and threesomes. Two very Christian things so far. I love it. Threesomes in church. Just the entire scale of human experience. Coming up next, you could check her out at her YouTube page, Lisa Smith Comedy. And she also has a link to this page on her Instagram, which is Yo Lisa Yo, I believe. Yes, she is nodding. Please give it up for Lisa Smith.
Yeah.
Those stories were very opposite. I love this. I think mine is somewhere in the middle, if I had to guess. And then also one aside, I have to note that your dad drinks lime margaritas because I love I love that whole brand of Bud Light. So me and your dad would get along. Okay, cool. So my story is about losing my car drunkenly in New Orleans. And if you guys don't know, New Orleans is a dusty ass good time. So you probably shouldn't move there to get your life together like I did last year. Okay, great. um, a little side about my car. I drive a 2018 Toyota Corolla. So it's a really nice car. It's good on gas. But I feel like I'm going into debt just for a backup camera. So not sure. I'm going into debt just so I don't have to do this. Like, it's very stupid. It's a very stupid purchase. And I'm really good at justifying my stupid purchases. Like, I'm like, should I get health insurance or should I get hair weave? Like, hair weave. Like, that's an easy decision. I love my car. It's cool. I moved to New Orleans though last year around this time because I got roommates. And at the time I lived with like a couple and they were like really loud and really obnoxious and they argued a lot. But I would never say anything and I would just like cower in my room because they were my parents. So I kept my complaints to myself. And that leads me to another thing about my car. Have you guys ever had someone screw you over so well? You weren't even mad, you were partly impressed? Yeah. No? Okay, you guys are lucky. That leads me to something about my cars because my dad sold me this car I can't afford. So it's great. I was like, wow, you are really good at this, sir. And he's like, yeah, thanks. My dad screwed me over, it's fine. So around this time, I lost my car drunkenly. I went to a drag show on Bourbon Street and it was a really good show. But I was hanging with somebody from Philly, with a comedian from Philly, and I was trying to like be a G and keep up. And she like got like some drink. She got like a vodka something. And I was like, oh, I'll have what she's having. I told the bartender, and even like the bartender looked at me like, ma'am, the water. And I was just like, no, I'll have what she's having. So yeah, I got slizzard. And I walk out and I just like, I think it was about like the 5th street I walked down where I was like, oh, I don't remember where I parked my car. This is fun. And I'm not like one of those people that's like young enough, like a millennial enough to like have an app to find it. So when I'm drunk, I don't know if you guys know this about me, I get like white boy frat confidence. So the first thought I had when I lost my car is I was like, wait a second, all I gotta do is tell the cops and they'll help me find my car. And I was with someone, thank God, and they were like, no, you cannot do that. I think because they know that you just confident, thank you. They thankfully told me you cannot do that. They knew that the cops in New Orleans, it's kind of like, that's not really like a thing. Like if you tell the cops in New Orleans you lost your car, they'll just be like, we lost our car too. Do you want to do shots together or? But yeah, so that would not help anything. And the second thing I thought when I lost my car, I was like, I think I can't find my car because I think the guys at that show roofied me. And my friend was like, please stop. We were at a drag show. We were the ugliest people there. Everyone worked out. Nobody wanted to fuck you. You're fine. You're fine. I was like, oh, okay. And then the stupid last thing I did that night is I emailed my ex. And I know what you guys are thinking.
Why not?
Email. Why would you like email your ex? That's kind of an old form of communication. And to that I say, why don't you guys mind your business? Okay, it's between me and my husband. I'm kidding. I emailed him because I am blocked on everything else. So you can't get rid of me that easy. Like what? You can block my IP address. I know your real address, sir. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, but no, that did not end well. As you guys can imagine, the email made no sense. I was like, I can't prove it, but I think you moved my car. Like, I think you did this. And just another aside, he did not do it because I was in Louisiana and he was in Georgia, so that would have been impossible. But I was like, I think you did this. You moved my car. You never want me to be happy. I bet you're dating a Republican right now. Like, I just really went in. I said that. I don't know why. And I was like, that actually made no sense too. He actually, he is a comic, and he made a joke like, why would I fuck a Republican? Because like they're most likely to keep the baby. And I was like, that's a good point. You're probably not fucking a Republican. You do not have a job. Okay, so that's how I ended the night. He ended up calling my sisters just to like have them check up on me. But eventually I did get home. My friend took me home. And that was it. And that was all I had for that story. Thanks, Kendra.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, everyone, please give it up for Lisa. I am so glad that you found your car. I hope you don't have a restraining order against you for accusing your ex of moving your car in a drunken state. I'm not gonna encroach on your personal life. And if that email were to suddenly be released anonymously, I would love to read it.
Yeah, I have a screen grab. I can send it to you.
Okay, I am. And honestly, you should put, for comedy, just be like, I didn't send this, LOL. It's funny though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Look what my friend sent her ex. Isn't that crazy?
Like, ridiculous.
So weird.
I don't know anyone in Georgia. Yeah, that is incredible. I unfortunately have never been to New Orleans, and I want to get white boy wasted in New Orleans.
You should go. Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah, I've never had that confidence. I want to have the confidence to like ask a cop for help, you know? Like especially as a Black woman, like that is how drunk I want to be. I want to be like, police officer, I lost my phone, please find it. Like just snap at them like.
You should go and request a parade too. I don't know if you know that it's really easy to request parades in New Orleans.
Yeah, I heard that like if you want like, yeah, I heard it was so easy to just like fucking request a parade and drink on the street. Meg said, I went to NOLA with my church group when I was 16 without drugs. Thank you, Meg.
You gotta do it, go back and do it right.
Yeah, you gotta do it with alcohol. You gotta do it with alcohol at the very least. But man, yeah, I would love to also have a parade in New Orleans, and I should go. Post-pandemic, I'll go to New Orleans, just get shit-faced, and obviously I'll be the only one with that idea. We'll keep the show moving. Our next our next guest is hilarious. He is a great guy. He co-runs a show at Club Cafe pre-pandemic. And another show, Dirty Water Late Night. I know it's been...
I got canceled.
I mean, I know, but you did it.
I did it, yes, but it did get canceled.
Okay, you're still a great guy. Corey's
you.
a great, hilarious guy. Please give it up for Corey Saunders.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kendra. I appreciate it. I have to say that once Miss Rona's gone, we're going to take a trip to New Orleans and we're going to reenact the movie Girls Trip. I hope you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Just without all the peeing scenes, because that was when I was kind of like, I could do without this. But that's just me. Maybe you're into that. Who am I to kink shame? All right. So this time of year makes me nostalgic for high school. And now you might be saying, you're a large gay man. Why would you like high school? I didn't. But this story is just so cringe that it's absurd to me that it's real, because it reads like one of those terrible MTV teen shows. So I'm going to share with you my humiliation now. So junior year of high school, I was in charge of my high school's public access television newscast. Like, we did a broadcast to the entire town every school day, every day. And I was there and dealing with the stories, and I was supposed to be like in charge. I had a giant crush on our sports reporter. who was also the captain of the football team, because I really like to aim high. He was also very Italian, which will come in handy later. Keep that in mind. So we'll call him Mario. So I had such a thing for Mario, and whenever he'd walk into the classroom or the TV studio, like, you know, I just have the eyes, you know, the oh Mario. But meanwhile, a sophomore who was also in the program interrupted my gossip session one day at lunch just to announce to me that he was gay too. And I was like, excuse me, I have tea to spell, like this needs to wait. You know, I was supportive, kind of. But so the poor thing, he had such a thing for me, and everyone called him Dusty because we were shooting a basketball game one night, and he sat on like the ledge above the bleachers in the gym, and he had a rather ample butt, let's say. And he came down from the shoot and his butt was just covered in dust. And the teacher gave him a nickname that followed him into college. So that's Dusty's life. He was just, God love him, he was a poor thing. Very nice kid, just like a poor thing. But I had eyes for another. So we would, you know, we about this time of year, that year when I was 16, we shot what we called our Emmy show, because the local Emmy contest allows students to enter their productions and win like a student version of the Emmy Award. And so we planned our shoot for a Friday before the deadline around like Christmas time. And we shot our show for like hours and hours and hours, but either the anchor flubbed or like someone clicked the wrong button or the video didn't roll in time. So we'd have to start over and record our show again and again and again. And our anchor was a man I like to affectionately call our token rich kid, because he was very much like, well, my family's address is in Framingham, but most of our house is in Sudbury, so it's more expensive. And I was like, I want to hit you with my car. I didn't, because I didn't want to go to jail for vehicular manslaughter. I had more to live for back then. But we just had like a very interesting cast of characters, but we kept like flubbing the show. And finally we were like 4 hours in, and token rich kids stormed off the set and was like, I'm done. I have a party to go to. I'm not doing this, blah, blah, blah. So we regroup. We decide that we're going to come back to school the following Monday to shoot our show. Well, Monday is a snow day, and it's the day before deadline, and everyone is losing their shit. So we're all texting on our flip phones, because this was 2005. Yeah, 2005. And coincidentally, as the like student, like head of the program, I had a master key to the school, because my teacher looked at me and said, this unstable 16-year-old needs to get into the equipment closet, so let's give him a master key. And you best believe I abused that shit. We had a graffiti problem on the downstairs bathrooms where the TV studio was, but was I gonna walk all the way up the stairs to pee? No, I was not. I looked to my left, looked to my right, looked to my left again, used that key and went into the bathroom, and not once did the janitors catch me, because I'm slick. Thank you for the snaps. So I was charged, since I lived so close to the high school, my parents' house is like a 10-minute walk from the high school. I had to run this like covert mission to like get into the school's back door and see if there was anyone around to let us in, or to catch us if we went in. And there was no one at the school. The whole thing was dark. So I like let ourselves in, like started the text chain. We shot our show. We got it done in like 3 takes. Everyone was so proud of ourselves. We're like, we're going to win this award. We're going to be student Emmy winners or whatever. And to celebrate, we decide we're all going to go out to lunch, because for whatever reason, like the school was closed, but the local mall wasn't. All right. So again, it's Christmas time. The mall's a shit show. We're like, we're going to go to the mall to eat, because Mario worked at the California Pizza Kitchen. So we get to the California Pizza Kitchen, and Mario's sister also works there. So Mario's sister is waiting on us, but she looks at Mario and says, hey, can you help take orders? Because I'm slammed. He's like, no problem. I got you. So we're all kind of like discussing what we're going to get. And I've never been to this place before. So I turned to the girl next to me, who was like the host of the like school announcement segment, who I also want to hit with my car. she thought she was like so great because she was like interviewing the principal, like, Mr. Welch, what are the announcements today? I'm like, you need to be knocked down a peg. You're not cool. And so I turned to her and I'm like, hey, I don't know what to get. Like, what's good here? And she points something on the menu. She's like, this is what I always get. It's really good. So everyone knows I have this huge crush on Mario because I'm not subtle. I don't know if you picked up on that. And he comes to me, he's like, all right, Corey, what are you having for lunch? And I look up and with zero irony go, yes, could I have please the sweet and spicy Italian sausage pizza? Mm-hmm. Those of you who not on our group Zoom can't see everyone currently losing their shit because that actually came out of my mouth. Yeah, that was a real thing I said to the straight object of my affection. And the whole table turned to me like, bitch, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. With no malice, no ill intent. That was just the very unfortunate circumstance I found myself in. And I'm pretty sure I saw like a single tear go down Dusty's face. So I'm mortified. I'm horrified the like rest of the school year. Meanwhile, Dusty keeps trying to make his moves on me. And again, Kendra knows this about me. The rest of, Zoom land might not. But I'm a pain in the ass who likes to whine and scream a lot. So whenever anything doesn't go my way, I bitch about it very loudly. And whenever there'd be like some issue with the show or something happened, I would rah, 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 rah. And Dusty would come up behind me and put his hand on my shoulder and start rubbing it and go, it's okay. And it just like crossed into like, all right, like, thanks, but I'm not interested to like full on creepy. And but he was 15. He didn't know. But so this was also at the time when we were all starting to get Facebook in high school because we had like a few friends in college who hooked us up with the invite, and they had those applications. Do you remember they had that thing, the honesty box, where someone could write you an anonymous message and would only tell you the person's gender, but like it would be blue or pink, which we hadn't had the whole non-binary conversation back then. So yeah, but I got this blue message one day in the midst of all this that was just like, you're a bitch. I used to really like you, but you're just a terrible person. But for me, that's a compliment. So I was just like, thank you so much. I knew who it was from because what other male did I know that would say that to me? But so we kind of have all these like weird interactions and everything's just weird. And we end up winning the Emmy, which is really exciting. They invited us to the ceremony and Tom Bergeron hosted it. And side note, so they were only televising the second half of the awards because those are the ones that people actually cared about. So before the TV cameras came on, he comes up on stage and he goes, listen, it's just us here. There are no cameras on. And I've always wanted to do this. So I'm just going to go ahead. And he just screams, motherfucker! Like at the top of his lungs. And everyone laughs because they're like, oh, it's Tom Bergeron screaming motherfucker. Then we get to the televised portion of the event and they always recognize like a big broadcaster at some point in that year. And it was Dr. Timothy Johnson, who was the medical reporter at the ABC affiliate. And he gets up and he accepts his award and he's like, I just want to invite my 5-year-old little grandson up on stage with me to share this moment. And you see the color drain from Tom Bergeron's face. He's like, and then he gets up on stage after the speech and is like, for those of us who were here before the camera started rolling, I would not have done that had I known there was a child here. And we laughed. But after we won the award, which was very exciting because we were like, we're 16-year-old Emmy winners, which they weren't even like real Emmys. They weren't like this one behind me. They were like square statues that I didn't really understand. But anyway, so our token rich kid, being the token rich kid, threw a party. And he was very excited to celebrate our win. And it wasn't like a cool kids party because we were the AV kids. But sure enough, he had it in his parents' basement and served like Sprite. And of course, like Mario and his sports producer and the girl that like the sports producer was dating all showed up shit-faced because they thought they were funny and cool, which I guess they were cool. I mean, whatever. So we're at this party and I'm talking with like some of my friends and we're having a great time. And all of a sudden the lights go out. And LOVE by Nat King Cole comes on. And I'm like, this is an odd music choice. And weird mood lighting, but this is going to be weird, I can tell. The lights come on, and Mario is shirtless, only in his boxers, giving me a lap dance. I'm still triggered when I hear the song because I just see Mario in my head, like, giving me a lap dance. I'm like, eh. But for me, that was my, like, Josie Grossy prom moment where, like, thinks she's going to the prom with the cool kid, and then he shows up in the limo and throws the egg at her if we've seen Never Been Kissed. And I storm out of the house. I'm pissed. I, like, stomp up the stairs. I'm horrified. And as I'm going out the front door to my mother's Toyota Corolla, I hear these footsteps behind me, and I hear, "Corey, wait." And I turn around, and it's Dusty. And I'm thinking, is this his, like, knight in shining armor moment? Is this, you know, he was in front of my face and I didn't see it the whole time? Like, is he really, like, my true love? And what comes out of his mouth is, "Can I get a ride home?" Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you know what, though? The universe has a funny way of working out, because Dusty is still Dusty, and Mario is actually a single dad in Texas, and he's become very Trumpy. So who's the real winner here? And that's my story. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Corey, for that story.
Thank you.
The twists and the turns. Mario, the Italian sausage, now he's a Trump supporter. Oh my God, just all of it.
It had everything.
Thank you so much for that, man. I honestly, there's a part of me that's a little jealous that you got, like, a same gender lap dance in high school. Cause like guys didn't even like me in high school. I felt like girls were like I was like, oh, I'm not hot enough for girls to like me, but I know. I mean,
the struggle's real. The only other out gay kid at Framingham High was, like, the lead in all the plays, and he was just, like, he was thin, but he was, like, greasy, and he thought he was hot shit. But I just thought he was cold diarrhea, in the words of Margaret Cho. So there's that.
Yeah, that there was a few people like that in my high school as well, where it was like, okay, we get it, you do theater, sure. Anyway, we have one final performer for the night. I'm very excited to bring him up. He is originally from the Bronx, but now could be found performing all over Seattle. And he is the host of the Revisionary podcast, where a guest tells a nonfiction story about their lives and then gets the chance to retell the story, changing what they wanted, changing certain elements to what they wish would have happened. Please give it up for Juan Carlos.
Oh, thank you, everyone. So we'll start. It's like, gasp. As I wake up every morning, the same way I have for the past 10 years. I can't breathe. My chest is heavy. It's like an anvil has just been laying on me all night. And then it comes again. It's the same reoccurring dream. It's like I can't escape it. I'm on stage. The lights are hitting me. I can feel the heat. I can feel my heart rate racing. And like the heat is just becoming suffocating. And this is the moment that I've been waiting for my entire life. And I go to deliver the line and I realize I've forgotten it. So we flash back because this story actually occurred 4 years earlier. So I grew up in the Bronx, and my dream was always to be a famous actor or a famous performer. Growing up in the Bronx, we didn't have too many opportunities to act. But I was one of the lucky kids who got into a private school. I got into a private all-boys Catholic school, actually. And somehow I got a scholarship, and my parents found a way to pay for it. The first thing I do when I get there is I decide that I'm going to become this, like, big actor, you know? And I start walking around with a scarf around my neck, you know, and I start telling everyone that I'm not an actor. No, I'm much more than that. I'm a thespian because I'm better than the rest of you. And I remember my freshman year, I walk in because we're having tryouts for the musical Oliver. And the director had come out and said that he was specifically looking for a freshman to come in and be the star of his musical. And I walked in thinking, of course, it's my time. This is where I shine. And I walked into that room with the confidence of someone auditioning for a musical, even though he couldn't sing. I go in, you know, I hit my do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. See, I can't sing. And somehow miraculously made it onto the chorus, like hitting somewhere in the back, away from all the microphones, and told you to smile there. It might have been affirmative action, I don't know, but somehow I was in this cast. But, you know, so it started, but that was okay. I knew that my time would come. The next year comes, and I go try out for the school play, because the way my school works is in the fall we have plays, and then in the spring we have the big musical, that's the golden jewel. You know, that's where you want to be, that's where you want to shine. And I go out for the play, you know, thinking, well, I don't have to sing. Clearly my good looks and my acting will carry me through. And I got selected to be in the show as the person who brought waters to the real actors, because I got cut. They were like, you can't act. You get out of here, you're trash. It's like, okay. So that's not gonna work out either. But it's fine. I bide my time, you know, and I come back for the school musical. Again, still, I cannot sing. But clearly, you know, after so much effort, it's, you know, an opportunity is gonna come up. And I auditioned for Man of La Mancha. Again, I've made the chorus. I did not get a lead role, but you know who did? Christian Navarro, who you may not have heard of, but he's one of the actors on the cast of 13 Reasons Why. So despite being a freshman, he got cast and I did not. And I guess there's a reason he got cast, because he's talented, according to Netflix. So we're there. But it's fine. Again, I bide my time. And that summer, I was like, I'm gonna make a difference. I practiced. And I looked up acting skits and I did monologues. And I said, this is the fall that I'm going to finally become a star and just get a speaking role. That was my only goal, is to get a speaking role. We get a new director my junior year. And I said, this is it. This is gonna make all the difference for me. I walk in, I audition. I killed it, absolutely killed it. I'm like killing this role, except I kept breaking character, which is a major no-no for anyone who's ever done acting. You're not supposed to break character. I would break halfway through. So she took me on and was like, there's promise here, but you can't quite break character. It's like, all right. My junior year comes and finally the musical is around. I was like, all right, something has to break my way. I finally go out there and I did it. I got my first speaking role. It's we're in Guys and Dolls, you know. I had two lines, but I practiced those 2 lines and I knew them in and out, right? And I was ready. I delivered them perfect day of. Now, we've gotten to my senior year, and this is my last shot at getting to speak like a bigger part in a play. This is my last play ever. For whatever reason, we're doing these like series of 1-scene plays. You know, each story has 6, 7 different stories. I got cast as the lead for my 1 scene. It was the coolest role I've ever played in my life. I was on TV, so I spent the entire scene in a box, and somebody was watching TV, and every time they changed the channel, I got to play a different character. So I went through 13 different characters, and sometimes switching characters mid-sentence. I crushed the role so well that people were asking me if I was going into acting school. They're like, are you going to Juilliard? I was like, no, Juilliard's not good enough for me. Again, I had the confidence of auditioning for a musical, even though I couldn't sing, because that's who I was. That was the persona I was. You know, I was just better than everyone. You know how it is. So finally, after riding my high horse of, you know, killing it in this role, I decide that, you know, it's my senior year. It's the last musical. I was like, this is it. You know, I got a part in the play, so I'm definitely going to get another, you know, large, massive role in the musical. So I audition, and I come to find out, so normally, just for background, when we do the musical, we would practice for about 3 months and then, do it for 2 nights. And I go in, I audition, I sing my heart out. Like, sing my heart out. I had notes so high that I didn't know if I had been castrated halfway through. Like, I didn't, like, I'm just hitting everything. And then the director goes, "Thank you for your services, but you can't sing. So we have a spot on this chorus for you." I'm devastated. It's my senior year. This was it. Like, I was like, this is where my acting career is going to end. I finally was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make the best of it. I'm a team player, right? I'm just going to have fun and enjoy it. So we go through, and sorry, let me back up. I should have mentioned, in the previous year, my junior year, part of the reason why I was able to get the speaking role for the musical was because as I was one of the extras on the play in my junior year, I stole the scene from the background. Meaning, somebody was acting, they had lines, I didn't have lines, but I played a waiter. And being, who I am, this is when I realized I was actually funny. I was, my scene was simple. I was a background character. I just had to deliver a donut to 2 eating waiters. I decided, because I went to a Catholic school, I was going to imitate all the priests I had seen a million times and lifted it up and did the holy thing as if I was breaking Eucharist and split the donut, did some Gregorian chant from the background and laid it down, and the theater erupted. I thought I was going to get in trouble, but she loved it. So now fast forward, I've been doing this for a little bit. I'm part of the cast, I'm having fun. They had chosen to do South Pacific that year because they had a kid who was performing off-Broadway at the time at my high school. Kid could sing, he had pipes, and they chose the show because it was specific to his particular tone. We go there, we're practicing, we're doing everything. And a month before the show, like opening night, he gets into a huge argument with the director. He was like, "I don't need this. I'm doing off-Broadway already. I'm in high school. I don't need to do the stupid high school show." It was a Saturday, and I'll never forget it. It was like 1 p.m. I get the call. I pick up, and it's his director, and he goes, "Hey, how quick can you get to the school?" I was like, "I can be there in 35 minutes. He goes, "Make it 20. Done." I show up. He goes, "It's the moment you've been waiting for. You have the second largest role because we're moving your friend Kevin to the lead." But it's fine. It's fine because in this role, I'm in more scenes than the actual lead. I have more lines and I have my solo. So I practiced for months, getting ready for this moment. My solo comes on and I practiced so much that I got to the point where I didn't sound bad. And that for me was a win. I'm like nailing it. I'm doing this. And then comes to the final night, my final moment of high school theater. My career is going to come to an end. I get on stage. The lights are hitting me. I'm sweating. And I forgot my line. And that is the end of my high school theater career. And to this day, I still have anxiety-driven nightmares about how I forgot that goddamn line in my last moment on stage. Thank you very much.
Damn. Oh no. Oh man. Well, you're a great performer now, so it's fine. We all developed from high school. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Juan Carlos.
Sure.
So that is the end of our show for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everyone watching has a happy holidays, happy Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy Boxing Day, all of that shit. And tune in next. So I'm actually not sure what's happening next week, but we do have this show weekly, Wednesdays, 8 to 9, all sorts of stories from people all over the US and beyond. So tune in and thank you so much for watching. Have a great night. Bye.